November 8th, 1974. These two brothers were born and grew up drawing anime and manga characters that they watched on TV, like Ari from Dr. Slump and Doraemon, and eventually became professional manga artists, with one creating a series that'll sell like white on rice.
Believe it! Believe it! Believe it! So believe it!
Naruto, whereas the other brother, Seishi Kishimoto, would create content that is and will be the antithesis of his brother. Disturbing manga. How disturbing? The tamest book he's written so far is Opars Hunter, aka Satan 666. I'm not gonna lie, man, that's just like a little kid wrote that. It's the exact title of a book a kid would write with some problems. You know, that one kid that dresses in all black and talks about death and sadness all the time? That's one bad day away from airing the school out. Okay, I'm back, but everything else Seishi Kishimoto wrote is insanely edgy and extremely provocative, and feels reminiscent of, again, something you would write during your emo phase, but his magnum opus, Mad Chimera World, is a series full of all the sex and violence a horny teenager with an endless libido would imagine, gives the reader a view of an apocalyptic fantasy world where feminists essentially take over the world and use men like sex objects and food quite literally, with men at the bottom of the food chain and women as insane, sex-driven animal hybrid monsters that like to violently rape and reproduce with men and then eat them. There's a scene in this book where mothers eat their own children after squirting them out of the womb a page ago. Then you've got borderline incest, but not full Usagi Nasura mode, with the main character's sister literally squirting her cereal box prize over the page to make some sort of anti-woman perfume, which is just her baby gravy fluid, and she rubs it all over his face and body. Just saying all this shit out loud, it's just crazy. To be completely honest, this book is so absurd and contains so much lunacy, it's just funny to read even at its most disturbing. So if you want to know all the messed up parts and laugh about how dumb this book is, stay tuned for the breakdown. The only reason why I'm reviewing this messed up book is because this guy called Mr. Overthink is tired of me uploading school-related disturbing manga videos, so here we are. I was supposed to upload my analysis on the Kite Hentai series, but everyone can just wait because this book is way more important than having a variety of content that can be uploaded to the channel instead of, whatever the heck I was going to upload before, even though I just said it. Now, here's a disclaimer. Throughout this video, there's a high probability that I'll have no clue what I'm talking about, considering this book is so mind-numbingly boring when you're not laughing at it. Halfway through, I looked at the pictures and made up my own story. That probably makes more sense than the actual story itself, considering I know the plot twist. But jumping right into the book, the first page is wilder than the first page and the opening scene of the Berserk manga, with guts stretching out that woman. So, in the opening of this book, we see a monster hybrid woman giving birth to about 100 fish eggs or so. Following this, it's just fucked up horribleness. There's monstrous trees, monster goats, horny monster bees, not the bees!
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Open my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
Then you got the main character, whatever the hell his name is. I'll just refer to him as Kevin for the remainder of the video. But he's interested in the world and stuff because he likes science and learning new things about the post-apocalypse hellscape he lives in. But because he's a softer and more terrible than a wet paper bag, his bunny sister has to protect him all the time. But they eventually find a library that explains how evolution went horribly wrong and how women used men as sex slave and sex toys that are constantly raped and tossed into the garbage. But while we're reading all that exposition, Kevin gets abducted by the rapist murderer bees that eventually get slaughtered by the sister because that's what she does, kills stuff. And to top it all off, the ending of the chapter has babies eating one another. It's just wrong and twisted. It's literally happening for no reasons besides plot reasons. It's more funny than horrific. Skip into the next chapter, we get some giraffe monsters and more babies eating one another because that's what the artist likes. Writing all this baby eating on baby cannibalism stuff. It's fucked up. Meanwhile, the sister Usagi literally walks over a hill and plays with her birthday cake just to get frosting and sprinkles it and rubs it all over her brother as camouflage, because apparently that works. More killing happens. Then we're introduced into this sexy new character that was getting stretched out by this unnamed man that got decapitated. Then more new characters that aren't important are introduced, who are peace-loving women who raise men instead of eating them. I mean, they still eat men, but they refuse to cannibalize their own kind because apparently they have standards. But if you're expecting this to branch off into like an entire little storyline, of course it doesn't. But instead, what's established in the story, or what's revealed, is that there's no oceans on the planet Earth anymore because all the water on the Earth was converted into a giant tree because this book is stupid. But moving along. Eventually, the grasshopper woman, aka the sexy woman, shows up, and she wants to eat Kevin because she's horny, until, of course, mid-fight, she gets kicked in the stomach by Bunny Girl, and she gets kicked so hard, she starts giving birth in the middle of a shonen battle. This is just wild, unbelievable. Then all of a sudden, instead of being a callous monster that, eats her own babies that she gave birth to like a page ago, she starts caring for the babies. She reproduces and protects them. And Usagi uses this opportunity to basically step on them like cockroaches and finish her off. And bing, bam, boom, she's gone. Until this dude crawls out of her ass, which is absolutely disgusting. And it's revealed he's been living there. And he's been controlling her this entire time. Then we meet this new character in New York who looks like a certain character from Satan 6666, who believes women being on top of the food chain are stupid and men should be vastly superior because she's misogynistic. I mean, well, it's not wrong to be a misogynist in this world, but the point is, he kills women and he likes it. And his reasons for creating weapons was so he could dominate women, because he doesn't want to die of hormone stupidity, and he wants to take out as many women as he possibly can before he dies. Yada 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 happens, and a new bug character is introduced, who's a stereotypical comedic relief character, and they travel to this alien structure that used to reconstruct DNA, because that's the plot twist of this entire series. The human race was dying because of global warming reasons, and to survive a hostile environment, the human race wanted to rewrite DNA into something more suitable for the evolving planet. But complications happened, and we have this book. So ultimately, what makes the main character Kevin special is that he's a chimera, meaning he has all the DNA from all life on Earth embedded into his DNA because plot reasons that I most likely forgot, but are most likely stupid than reasonable. Thus, with this revelation discovered, the main character and crew set out on an adventure to find more pot shits because the main character is a bookworm and he wants to learn things because the plot tells him to. Fast forwarding to some points of interest, the team meets up with the sheep man and battle him. Usagi fights him and gets her teeth kicked in, but Kevin goes chimera mode and freaks the hell out, goes berserker mode too. Then that random grasshopper character says self-sacrifice and dies for a character he encountered 4 or so chapters ago because...
You were always so kind to me. Who are you? Remember me? From earlier?
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you? You treated me like no one else did. You were like a brother to me.
But it's more likely that the plot told him to. Anyway, later, some freaky shit happens again. And then the worm guy who crawled up the woman's ass appears, and now he wants to take over the main character's body. I'm talking about Kevin, because power and control, and evil reasons because he's evil. Then some more weird shit happens, and the character encounter a living electro dildo that attaches itself to a robot bull, and it's erect because he wants to have sex with Usagi, the main character Kevin's sister, meaning this character is just a rapist because he's horny. Fast forward to the end of the story because I'm tired of reading this drivel, to be completely honest. The main character finds the main ship. The tapeworm guy tries to take over his body because that's what he does. Of course he dies and he fails horrifically. Usagi goes kinda crazy, but she regains her mental composure. She kills the tapeworm guy. Then by the end of the main character dies and he's reborn as a normal human being. And I guess it's a happy ending because I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And I'm not reading any of the text walls, but that's the end of this book. It gets a 2 out of 10. The book is absolutely awful. Don't read it. Just look at the pictures and make up your own story. It's way better that way.